And hello, everyone. It's Greg here from the Con Hour, and I am filling in for Amy while she's having Thanksgiving at her husband's family. I think she gets two Thanksgivings each year, so I'm kind of a bit jealous of that. I mean, who doesn't love turkey and stuffing and all that good stuff? Man, I'm jealous, Amy. I have to say, but we are here with Mike Mike Telef- Mike Teleferro. Sorry. It's been one of those days. I lost internet today and I had a show. I missed it, but I'm here for these. That's what matters, right?
Absolutely.
But want to get in with Mike, and you are going to be on the 12 Days of Page Turners, which is going to be on December 4th, and that starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. And what genre do you write in?
I write multiple genres. My first novel, Primus Actum, was a action slash action romance novel. My second, Tales of the Rona, was a alternate history, Pirates of the Caribbean type book, and my third, which is coming out in pre-sale next month, is called The Five Lone Stars.
Oh, very
And
nice.
yep. Did you want me to talk a little bit about each one of them?
Oh, please do. I love hearing about the stories. It
Okay.
gets
Well,
the interest built up.
Primus Actum, which is Latin for first act, it's the first of a trilogy, and it took 10 years to write. Started off as one scene introducing the main protagonist and some other characters, which ended up being chapter two. And after I wrote that scene, it's like, okay, who are these people and how did they get here? And so I worked backwards until I had the backstory and the introduction. And then I moved forward until I had the book complete. It was basically a piddle with it when I had time type of thing. And so it very much was a labor of love. And I'll be honest, I never expected it to be published. It was just something I was playing around with and having a good time. And when I did finally finish it, I told my wife, I said, "Hey, honey, I wrote a book." And she looked at me and she's like, "What? When did you do that?" It's like over the last 10 years. So the story is basically the protagonist suffers a catastrophic situation in his life, and he finds a way to move forward with the help of the residents of an abused women's shelter, which may sound like a strange setting for a book, but it's I like to infuse my books and my characters with a lot of moral and uh, general challenges, just like we all face, and so it helps to develop them because my stories are very character driven. I've had several people that have told me, my beta readers, that if I kill off certain characters, they're going to come looking for me.
I've been told that before.
Yes. So, second book, Tales of the Rona, is about a female privateer in the Caribbean, and she's actually modeled after a couple of historical features, Anne Bonny and Mary Read, who were 16th, 17th century pirates. And basically, she's a privateer. She is the captain of the Rona. Her name is Captain Zwilling, and she is third generation sailor. And she and her crew basically project the king of Hispania's power throughout the Caribbean. Of course, he has his own navy, but when there's things that can't be traced back to the king, well, then that's when he sends a messenger, and Captain Zwilling and her crew go into action. Third book that's coming out, like I said, in pre-sale next month is called The Five Lone Stars, and it is an alternate uh, future timeline, or excuse me, alternate future story. It starts off in 2017, and if anybody can remember 2017, the East Coast was being hit by multiple hurricanes, and the West Coast was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw one more little disaster in there, and that set the whole book in motion. It's called The Five Lone Stars because the state of Texas, it dissolves into 5 separate states. And in doing that, they secede from the United States. So you've got a country of 5 states, and the main character is a female. She's a nurse, and she is basically the leader of a small enclave on the coast. And her job is to keep her people safe and fed and do all these things with the modern trappings stripped away. No electricity, no internet, back to basics type of stuff. And funny story about that book is I'm a pantser by nature. I tend to write my chapters one at a time, and then I will go back and modify as necessary to join the chapters together. Well, I was working on this and having a lot of fun with it, and I finally stopped myself and said, "Where are you at?" And where I was at was about 750 pages of manuscript. So I sat down and looked at it, and basically the first volume, Tales of the Bayside, is 500 pages. But by saying that, I also said that volume 2, the Gulf Coast Coalition, is about half written. So
definitely. Now I do want to go back to one of the first things you said, and all 3 of them definitely intrigued me, especially the pirates. And anybody who knows me, I dress up almost like a Viking pirate for the Ren Fest here in Texas. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that you intrigued me is how you wrote the first part, and then you had to go back and rewrite all the other characters, and it just shows how much detail goes into a story.
Yes, very much so. I keep a biography of all of my characters, even the minor ones, because I've had some of the minor characters that have found their way into the story as a semi-major character.
Mm-hmm.
So they, it may seem excessive, but not only the physical traits, but what's their religion, what's their political perspective, how were they raised? Were they in a strict family, or single family or single parent home? It all matters to give you a 3-dimensional character that you can fall in love with.
And I definitely agree with that. But like I said, the second story definitely intrigues me. And of course, the third one, being from Texas, that intrigues me. So, I mean, you just got me all around here.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, someone with your credentials, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And
as you can see behind me, this is where the magic happens. I have my desktop for when I'm secluded. I have my laptop for when I'm away from the house, and obviously the laptop that I'm on right now is my travel laptop. So I'm sort of computer poor.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I got a phone, laptop, PC, 2 iPads. I mean, we're about the same position there.
Yep. And always back it up. Back that story up.
Yes, 100%. Now, again, you're going to be on December 4th, and that starts at 7 p.m. That's the 12 Days of Page Turners. And if anybody doesn't know, that is one of Amy's shows. It starts December 1st and runs through December 12th. And each day is going to have multiple genres with different authors, and they're going to be talking about their specials. And speaking of specials, is there a hint that you can give us that you're going to be doing for your books or book?
Certainly. In an effort to help with inflation, my books will be for sale for $1.99 each through Christmas. And second part of my promotion is that all royalties, 100% of the royalties that come from these sales will be donated to the Texas Great Pyrenees Rescue.
Very nice.
Third part of it is the author will match the donation. So if I sell 100 books, the TGPR gets $400.
Very nice. That's a good cause too.
Yes,
But,
you might notice the cover of my first book here, the little fellow that I'm covering up.
mhm.
That's actually a Great Pyrenees. I could afford a professional photographer, and I could afford my co-star there, but his demands for compensation were such that I didn't get paid for that.
Mm. But where can people find you? Excuse me. Where can people find you so they know where
Um,
to?
my books are available on Amazon and also free for anyone that has Kindle Unlimited. They are available paperback and electronic copies.
Okay. Do you have a website or?
I do. www.miketalliferro.com. And I will be keeping everybody updated on how the sales are going and how the donations are going through the month of December. And I know I'm, compared to yourself, a relatively new author, but one thing I do is in my blog, I try to help out other new authors with tips and suggestions and ideas that I have. And, you know, I feel like if I had had someone to offer me some of these suggestions backed up the road, it would have made life a lot easier, because honestly, it was trial by fire pretty much every step of the way.
That's how I was with my first one. So I definitely
And
agree. And every ounce of tips is good for anybody.
you've got to share. You've got to share the knowledge. I mean, knowledge isn't meant to be hoarded; it's meant to be shared.
Very true. But I do want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. And I hope you enjoy your turkey, and I hope Amy enjoys her double turkey.
Yes, Amy, I'm jealous of that double turkey. But again, thank you for being on. And again, I think we have another author talk short scheduled later this evening, and we will catch everyone then. Until then,